You're killing me.
Hard piles are a little out of hand, and I can back that pretty good.
Hard pile is the name of the game, so yeah.
What's up, people? Hey, what's up?
It's chaos supposed to roll in.
7. 1?
1.
Oh, devil's egg. Foils devil's egg.
All right. Winner chicken dinner.
That's all yours.
All right.
Let's all have a good time and keep our golden rules in mind. I don't foresee literally any problems at all today, so I feel like we're just gonna have a blast and throw some fireworks.
No rulers.
Heck yeah.
Well, hail sorcerers, Rude here, and welcome back to the archives. Today is a really exciting episode. As you can see, we've got several of the pillars of our sorcery community here with us. And you guys are pillars, right? Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Zyrus, maybe.
You're the most one of the most consistent uploaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about our experience building TCG communities. I think it's an exciting opportunity to play games together, to be able to come together for an awesome event that one of our really close friends, Brandon, hosted. And you'll be seeing that footage, interspersed throughout this video as well. But giving you an opportunity to hear more about our perspective on how we're building up the community for ourselves, so you can maybe get some inspiration to do that. But for the viewers who don't know, what I'd love for you guys to do is just take a second to introduce yourself. And we'll start with Bruce, and we'll go over to the Lord of Itza, Josh.
Hey everybody, I'm Bruce. I run the Golden Eagles cards channel. I really enjoy the gameplay and stats stuff, but getting paper play is the most fun. Absolutely.
Yeah. We had a chance to meet for our first event in Ohio over a year ago as well.
Yeah, you can find that recap on your channel, right?
It is, yeah, it's fun. That was the first event video, and it was just such an awesome opportunity, and really have developed this pretty good friendship moving forward. And same with Josh. So, tell us a little about yourself and your channel.
So I'm Josh. Lord of Itza is the channel, and I just started doing this because it seemed like a fun idea. That was basically
Welcome to the
it.
club.
Yeah, and that was it. So and it's been great because I've been able to meet a whole lot of people. I've met, I think, probably a lot of you who are watching this. So it's been a real joy.
Yeah. So I was hoping we can start a little bit about thinking about your own communities and what you found to be really helpful in starting to cultivate the interest in your communities, and then also what you've seen nationally, because we've collectively traveled to probably well over 100 events at this point in terms of everyone.
I don't know, maybe you.
Yeah.
Collectively, right? But,
Well, yeah, collectively.
but I've seen each of you guys in at least 4 or 5 different states at events, and
Yep.
I know that you obviously play a lot of games at other states and other places too. So was hoping you can talk a little bit about how you've built your local community. Maybe Bruce, we can start with you because we're in your local store, right?
Yeah, we're at 5-6 Aiming. We just had a great event run by Brandon here.
Come on, Brandon, just wave, say hi.
Brandon. And I think it's consistency. Just always being there or available for when somebody who is interested. You never know where they're going to come from. It could be coming from a YouTube channel. It could be coming from, they saw it on TCG Player or something and just are interested in it. It's just being available and being there.
Yeah. And what's your experience been like?
So for me, the thing was, I made the decision to not start my community until we had Arthurian Legends out. It was a big deal for me. With all the product disruptions, it was like, I want to be able to have something to bring people in.
Yeah.
So I waited until about October of this year, or of this past year. And so, because I ran right up against the holidays, it's been a little bit tougher. But consistently, we're doing 2 events a month, just a casual play, slowly growing. And it really is all about consistency.
Yeah.
Showing up, being there, helping out new players. If you're fortunate enough to have someone in the community that has a lot of bulk, they can help people get those cards, grapple shots and all that.
The core,
The core
ordinaries.
card,
Right,
yes,
right.
yeah.
Right, so I'm hearing consistency, I'm hearing accessibility.
Yeah.
I'm hearing trying to create something that's going to be exciting for folks to get drawn into. And I'm also hearing having product and other things accessible, so when new players do show up, they have the ability to start building decks and start to play the game and don't have to worry about jumping in, and not having access to the product. I think on our end too, one of the things that we went through in our local scene, we started at a store and a couple of our community members were traveling about an hour per week each way. We did that for about 7 or 8 months, and it was a long haul.
It's about a 40-minute drive for me here, and I mean, this is where I play sorcery, so
Right.
I'll make that drive.
Right. And I think having a couple of core members that are willing to do that, but in the background, we were also investigating other stores that might be open to hosting or starting to stock product. And we rotated through about 4 stores in total prior to landing in one, Mythic Forge Gaming in Detroit, that was A, open to starting to stock the product, and B, open to really supporting the
That's
community.
another thing. Like stores, I know it's a kitchen table game, right? But having stores have boxes on shelves is huge. Just having somebody, oh, that's a cool box, I'll buy a box. I personally don't play that way. I buy singles off a TCG player.
Yeah.
But just having an intro thing for somebody to buy off a shelf is huge.
Yeah.
I know I've talked to 2 people throughout our playing here, and that's how they found it. We're in a game store, and then there was an Arthurian Legends box, and it's like, oh, Knights seem cool, and then
Yeah, and I think that's the core for us is just not giving up. Like, even though it was tough and something that was really important to us, the community we had started to build and grow really turned into something special. And it's so cool being here today with folks from 3 separate states.
yeah,
who have,
3 states today.
Actually, 4
Four?
states.
Four
4 states.
states?
We got Adam from Kentucky. Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, all converging to A, have this incredible time, but B, to kind of grow our friendships that we have made, like meeting each other in West Virginia or Florida or.
Well, I've seen both of you at Gen Con. I saw you both at Louis qualifier and Floors and Five.
Yeah.
It's so cool going to the different bigger events and seeing people over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could give some advice to some of our community members that may be watching now that are thinking, I really want to start to build the community in my area. I'm a little intimidated by it, or I might feel a little overwhelmed by trying to start the process. What would 1 or 2 pieces of advice be to encourage them to really feel empowered to start that?
Yeah. Just dive in. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun. You're going to have some players that leave. It will happen.
Yeah.
The game just won't be for them. There is nothing wrong with that at all. They're going to leave, and that's all right. So, but you just got to keep trying, keep going, keep pushing. You will get more players. Some of them will go. And just remember, Sorcery is designed for this.
Yeah.
This is the game that's supposed to be everybody's second game, according to some of the things we've seen. And that is perfectly fine for it to be that. Mm-hmm. So don't give up just because you start and you're like, it's great. I've got 8 people showing up regularly, and then all of a sudden you go down to 4. Don't worry about it. Just keep on going. More players will show up, especially if you're taking the time to teach the game, to just be in that store, teaching, showing. People are going to ask questions.
Yeah.
So,
Just
Yeah.
being available.
yeah.
Yeah, I think being available, being accessible. What we love to do is play in the open area. So when people are walking into the store, they see the mat and they're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Because it's just such a neat thing. And if anyone's looking, just invite them over. Explain what you're playing and help them to understand. I think this is advice for any community-based growth. Like if you're thinking about other card games, I think one of the big things that we have here is a really unique opportunity to create meaningful friendships and to play a fun game. Any other advice for new players or new community builders?
New community builders, like maybe not so much like in person, but I would really love just to see more people. Like we just got Assorted Animals on YouTube. Just more people posting. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be on the play level production quality. Just putting your thoughts and ideas out there is more than enough.
Yeah, kind of just having the ability to just start throwing out any sort of decks that you're thinking about. And I would agree with you.
Do a deck tech video.
Yeah,
and that's really put your phone on a tripod. Just go thumb through your cards, talk about your cards. That's how you get the word out.
Yeah, I think for me too, just not feeling the pressure of it has to be perfect was a big step to get over, and really realizing that if you make stuff that you would want to watch, then other people are going to gravitate towards that too.
Absolutely.
I guess being realistic too, as you had mentioned, there are some difficulties that come
Product
along with
availability
this. Yeah. What are some of the difficulties that you've run into, and how do you advise folks to navigate those pitfalls?
I mean, product availability is always going to be it. So the big thing that we've been very fortunate with Sorcery is there are a lot of product champions. And there are a lot of people in our community who have bought a lot of product, opened a lot of product, and they just give it out, pass it out, hand it out. And those people are very important. And if you're lucky enough to be able to have a lot of product or have opened a lot of product, or in some cases, if you just reach out to some of those people who have a lot of stuff, they will just ship it to you at the cost of shipping.
I know Cold Forward Heroes does that every now and then. He'll put a post up of like, hey, a priority flat rate box, $15, you can have all this bulk.
Yeah, actually at SorceryCon, he gifted me 25,000 cards.
Oh my goodness.
To give out to the players that I was teaching in the Learn to Play event. 25,000 cards. Every player in that Learn to Play event got 1,000 cards gifted to them.
That's a great start.
And I think that's part of it too, that people in the community want to see it grow.
Yep.
And
I think that's the point to Sorcery. The people who play Sorcery are like, hey, come play Sorcery. And that is just word of mouth. It's slow, but it's once a year, and it's just something we have to get used to. Sorcery will be a slow growth game. It's not gonna there'll be pops around releases once a year, but I've seen it with YouTube analytics of it goes up and then it kind of levels off, but it's higher than it was before. Where the baseline is now higher.
Yes.
Well, I really want to thank you both for your time. I have 2 final questions. One, just what does the community mean to you? I think for each person it can look a little different. I obviously talk a lot about that in my video. That's kind of my thing. But I wanted to give you the chance to describe what the community means to you guys.
For me, it's just nice to meet people. I've got kids, the whole thing. My time is very limited. So to have people that I can talk to, chat about, and the thing is, we're developing friendships. We have people now that we can talk to about things in our private lives, personal struggles and all that. So not only are you building a community of people that play this awesome game, we're building a community of friends who can talk to each other, talk about tough times, because sometimes that's all that really matters, being able to just talk about something.
No, that was perfect. I made a really good friend out of with CJ and meeting you and I don't think I've made friends through like online games before. Like I grew up through Call of Duty and all PlayStation, but feels different.
Yeah.
And speaking of your point of like, what's it game mean? Like meeting people was huge. I didn't expect it to be that big.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see everybody, and then I just love the game. It's so much fun.
I agree, and I think that's very similar to how I feel. You know, the foundation is a solid, enjoyable experience that you can share with someone else. The interactive component of the game too, I think, makes this game feel very different than a lot of other games
It doesn't have a lot of gotchas.
Yeah, you're interacting with the board, and it's a really shared experience. But also, you know, those true friendships and connections that you make. It's just been absolutely wonderful. So I want to thank you again both for joining. Any final thoughts on things that we didn't cover, you think?
I wanted to expand on your point about the game being an interactive like experience.
Yeah.
Where other games have counterspells and like instant speed interaction. The ability to kind of have a conversation with your opponent. You're trying to win, but it's not cutthroat. I mean, it is competitive, but I don't know. There's something weird about that. Your turn, my turn. You were talking about the board, and you're both managing these card piles, so it behooves you to be kind to each other.
Yeah.
I think the game facilitates that kind of interaction.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Eric, Simon, Chase, the whole development team for creating such a wonderful product that's allowed us to really become great friends. And it's been an awesome time getting a chance to meet you guys at events, and I would encourage community members to reach out, stay connected, and if you see any of us or anyone else that you've noticed at an event, or you're wondering about what it would like to go to one, just ask. We're happy to help.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Yeah. Keep on contesting the realm.
Thanks, everybody.
You know, welcome back, and we are on to our next set of discussions with two of our other pillars of the community, and I'm really happy because this is an interesting conversation. Not only are you both so involved in the community from like an event planning and engagement perspective, but you hosted the event today, you won the event today, and you ended up getting second place as well. So I was hoping we can talk a little bit specifically about what it was like to plan your first big event, and then we can talk a little bit about what it was like to kind of be part of the community that's helping to plan these events, and also to be the top player today.
Honestly,
actually, we should start with
yeah,
introductions
yeah.
too. I didn't even
Should
think
start
that.
there.
Yeah. So
Who are you?
So my name is Adam. A lot of you guys may know me as Bros of Stalin on Discord or Bros of CCG. I'm based out of Kentucky. Drove 3 hours to be here today and had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for driving. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Brandon Posey. I'm 10B Posey on the Discord. I'm based out of the Columbus group, Columbus, Ohio. And I've been coming to the store for probably every Thursday for the past, since beta release. So however long that's been. So,
right, it's actually creeping up on over almost a year and a half at this point.
Yeah, it's getting there. But I love the game. It's everything about it. It's relieved so many stress points as far as my perspectives on other TCGs, and I feel like it's just like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to continue doing this.
Yeah, and you know, as we were talking earlier, you know, this group here today was so many people that have met at other events and really decided that we wanted to organize something that was within driving distance of all of us and kind of converging here. And you know, you were the mastermind of this experience, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your first time being a TO and really organizing an event of this nature. You had, you know, people coming from 4 different states. For community members that are thinking about jumping into organizing events, what would you share with them about how to do it?
It is very much a team effort. Like, you use the term mastermind, but I cannot and I will not take all the credit for this by any means. I contacted you, Adam, Dave, so many other TOs and members of the community. I contacted Kyle from up north, just gathering as much information as I could about what good pricing would be, what would be worth the drive, like, because I had literally no idea what I'm doing here. So like, I was very well supported from other people in the community to make this happen. So it was definitely a group effort, and I think that's the best way to represent it.
Yeah, and I think you did an awesome job, really, for your first event. It went off seamlessly. You were able to pull up a really decent crowd, and we had some really intense gameplay too.
Oh yeah. There were some spiky decks in this in this run here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We saw 2 Wolves decks out of the 12 players that were here today,
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And one of them made it to the top 4.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah, and I think that you know, the interesting thing too is seeing kind of your local community that was able to kind of meld with, you know, the folks that were coming from out of town to really have this awesome experience where you have some more seasoned players supporting newer players to feel more comfortable in the tournament scene. I know that you mentioned that some of the folks had just started playing, you know, within the last couple of weeks, others within the last couple of months, and some folks, this was their first tournament ever.
Yep, top four.
yeah,
top four Wolf.
top
like,
four,
first
right.
tournament ever. Still made top four.
Yeah.
Walked away with the play mat. It's awesome.
Yeah, so again,
You do Louis proud.
what do you think you were really focusing on that made it accessible for, you know, that whole range of players? Like, if you had to give advice to other people in the community, how did you make it that accessible?
I think the most difficult part about this was just balancing the pricing. Like making it worth the drive to be able to pull all these different communities was, I think, the key focus of this, and also making the entry fee worth it to justify it overall.
Right.
And we had 12 people were in this event for this one, so like with like 33.3% of people being able to cover their costs and say like, okay, I have a pretty decent chance of like winning a playmat or winning extra packs, and with the pack per win, I think honestly that is the way to do most events. Pack per win feels really good.
Yeah.
That way, if you join in and you know you scrub out, worst case scenario, you might pull a really cool card.
Yeah.
A buddy of our local group, he ended up getting a pack from one of the tables, and it had was a great Burning of Man in it.
Yeah.
Or You're the Blaze. You're the Blaze. Is what it is.
The other first match as well, you know, one of the newer players was donated a prize pack from Warbitsa, pulled a foil Fairy Queen.
Yeah.
It was his first pack he'd
it's
ever
Jordan.
opened.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like, it's just so cool to see kind of the sharing that's going on in the community, folks trying to build it up, but also having something that incentivizes people to come engage.
Yeah, we wanted to feel like everybody that attended this event, even if you just paid entry and you didn't necessarily make top cut, like you at least walked away with something good.
Yeah.
Like that was the core behind the door prizes in general. So like laying that mat out, roll a d20, and there's spots available. Pick up what you roll. It felt like even at that point alone, like there was like, for example, the Angel's Egg. That
foil.
we threw a Beta Angel's Egg foil on there. Bruce donated a Alpha Sleep foil.
Yeah.
And a playmat, the Cursed Land playmat that our buddy Rob got to take home.
Yeah.
There's just Chris, another local guy, ended up donating one of his Alpha Sorcerer box toppers and a playset of Alpha Violence. So like the fact that everybody's able to come into this and just throw a bunch of cool things into a pile and say, let people have it, is like one of the best parts for me personally.
Yeah.
And then interacting, of course, and seeing all the friends that I've met over the course of many events over the past year. It's just been a blast.
Well, and I love how you described yourself yesterday as Sorcery Santa. That
I enjoy it. Like,
love giving stuff out and sharing
it.
things, and you know, it just was so cool to see the energy of the event from the moment that people got here. You know, we started with those door prizes, really building up the excitement, and you know, then transitioning into having just a bunch of really fun games. And you know, at that point, you ended up taking first. And I know that we've had a chance to play in a lot of high-level tournaments in the past, and you know, it's just so exciting to see you get to this point, travel so far, and then be able to take first in an event that's filled with so many awesome players, but people that you've kind of met from all around. I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about your experience, your approach, and advice for people that are looking to get into the tournament scene.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to piggyback on what Brandon was saying. You know, it takes the prize pool that we've saw today. It just shows the amount of dedication that Brandon has amongst other members of the community that want to see this game grow.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So what was the question? I totally messed this up.
Brain fog from the
Yeah.
you know 6+ hours we've been playing today.
Yeah, I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to be here. So I didn't leave till 6, but it was a 3-hour drive to get here.
Right. No, just thinking a little bit about
Should invited him to stay at the house too. next time you're staying with us.
All right.
group sleepover.
Yeah.
Right? It's like 1995 again.
Heck yeah. I'm all about it.
And you know, it's thinking about, you know, your kind of repetitive going to events, like building up your confidence at events, and then, you know, being able to really top out today with, you know, a group of players that are really quite good.
I just really want to play. I think it's a total different experience. You know, we have TTS. The accessibility of TTS is great, but I think coming out and play this game in front of other people, forging those friendships, and having those long-lasting experiences. I was really hoping to win that champion promo, not because like, you know, like. it's kind of expensive to get it right now if you want to buy it, but like I just really wanted to win. I think it means a lot more to win something like that and keep it in your collection than to go out and just buy it.
Yeah, it's something that as you showed you can kind of keep. You remember the memories, the games that you played, the people that you were there with, and the fact that this is an event that's hopefully leading into a new series of events that folks will be hearing about soon. So
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so I guess in that final point, with this group of folks here really trying to build up the community. What's a bit of advice that you'd share with folks who maybe feel in kind of the mid-set lull right now, or are waiting for new announcements about Gothic or Dragonlord? What's something that you can share with them to keep them really excited?
It will get better.
I think with a larger card pool, once we have more ways that we can create decks and increasing that creativity with the larger card pool, I think is really going to keep us engaged. I can't tell you, like, I spend a lot of time playing TTS, but I also probably spend just as much time deck building.
Right.
I'll be sitting at my computer and like 2 hours will just fly by, and all I've been doing is trying to figure out what's the way that I can make this deck to be the most optimal, or if there's a specific win condition that I'm trying to pull off, how likely is something like that going to be able to happen?
Right.
Or what meme am I going to try this time?
Yeah. There's a lot of memes I've tried.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't work, but it's fun. It's fun to try.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid also to have you can have competitive decks, but also don't be afraid to try something new. Like Chris, for example, Golden Eagle or Bruce ended up showcasing his whole assorted animals 1-mana creature deck, and that is that's a house. Going against that can be rough. So sometimes you just slap something together and it can just work. I don't think some of my decks do that very often, but I myself need to improve this as well with how I deck build. I need to in between competitive circuits and whatnot, I think I need to start focusing a little bit more on what's actually just fun to play. I started with Pathfinder. And Pathfinder, I feel like I need to get back to my roots.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think one of the interesting facts about this tournament is that nobody came here with Archimago.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And,
how awesome is that?
we all wanted, because we know how powerful the deck is, but I think we all wanted to have a more competitive, fair experience, and so we all played something a little bit different. There were quite a few druids here today, sorcerers. We saw Flamecaller. That's
Yeah.
C baby. Yep. I didn't get a chance to see everything. Was there any other avatars?
There was a Spark Mage here.
Spark Mage
And
here?
I'm really sad that it didn't have the chance to really crack off, because I played against that deck, and boy howdy, it will wreck you randomly. So I think it has legs, but we'll tune it a little bit more, and I have high hopes for it for sure. Good.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to just discuss the event, advice for people that are looking to get events up in their communities, and also just talking about the experience of, working through building your decks, tweaking them, not getting discouraged, and then really finding your groove and making it to an event where you were able to top out and get something so meaningful.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Any final thoughts for our sorcerers at home?
Go out and play.
Yeah.
Find somebody that's near to you, see when they're going to the store, and just try to go out and play, because it's a lot of fun. You'll forge long-lasting friendships, and you'll be building the community. And I'm telling you, that the people that drove the distance to be here, whether it was an hour, 5 hours, whatever, it's a sign of their dedication that they want to play, and I think it's something that's really special.
All right. I hope to see you all at events in the future too. I know I'll see you guys, and hopefully see many of you as well. Thanks for joining us here in the archives. I'll see you in the contested realms.